So I heard that Unreal had some issues with how it handles frame rate in games utilizing their engine. I first saw this with Wacky Jackie's video about this issue occurring in PUBG. I'm going to throw his link in the video description as he makes fantastic content, and his explanation helps cover the Fortnite issue I've investigated as well. But I'm going to do my best to explain the issue so far as my findings tell me. Fire rate for each weapon is set in Unreal blueprints by setting a retriggerable delay. So developers set a delay between shots. Say, for example, they set it to 0.2. That would mean 0.2 seconds delay between each shot, which would be 5 shots for every second. That works perfectly, so long as the game is playing at an FPS equal to a multiple of 5. 30, 45, 50, 60, 145, whatever. But what happens if a game is not rendering at an FPS equal to a multiple of 5? Then this starts to fall apart. The game only allows the next shot to fire on a frame that occurs after the retriggerable delay time has passed. This wouldn't be a big deal if the game compensated for lost time spent waiting for that frame, but it doesn't. Time lost waiting for that frame is simply lost. This means that the previous example of a 0.2 second retrigger no longer means 5 shots per second if you are anything outside of a perfect mesh between your frame rate and the fire rate of the weapon you're using. Let's use 30 FPS with a 0.2 second retriggerable delay as an example. This would perfectly shoot every 0.2 seconds and result in 5 shots in 1 second. However, if we get 31 FPS, the second shot no longer occurs perfectly on the 6th frame at 0.2 seconds, because the frame is no longer occurring at that time. Instead, it takes the next available frame after the retrigger time passes. So at 31 FPS, the 6th frame happens at 0.194 seconds. Because the retrigger time is not yet passed, the shot is not allowed to occur. So the next available frame occurs 0.226 seconds after the first shot, and only then will the shot be allowed to occur. This then happens for every single shot thereafter, effectively slowing the fire rate of a weapon designed to shoot 5 times in a second to a weapon that shoots 5 shots in 1.13 seconds. That's a 13% fire rate nerf. It's not a worthy trade for having 1 extra FPS. Now, what does this mean for Fortnite? The answer actually kind of depends on the weapon. Fortnite's done a really good job of designing weapons that mostly avoid these circumstances. Most weapons, it doesn't matter much or at all. But there are a few examples that are particularly bad. I'm going to show those in a moment. For my tests, I used 3 different FPS settings. There are many results other than what I'm showing here, but I chose 144, 60, and 61 frames per second for very specific reasons. I chose the common goal FPS marks. 144 because it's what I imagine most want to have, and it is what I play at. I chose 60 because that's a very common goal for a lot of people, so it's probably a common FPS. And then I chose 61 to help illustrate the difference 1 frame can make, and that it isn't specifically a higher FPS equals a higher fire rate. The 2 weapons affected most by retrigger delay inconsistency are the minigun and the compact SMG. I'm going to play the audio of all 3 clips at once during both of these because you can hear the difference in fire rate between them. It's extremely substantial. The minigun at 144 frames empties all 60 rounds while the others still have over 5 shots left. The compact SMG at 144 frames fires 13.4% faster than the compact SMG at 61 FPS.